ma'am.
Good morning. How was your weekend?
It was okay, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, okay, so we shall start. All of you can hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Clearly.
Okay.
Yes, you are audible.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just let me share my screen. Okay. This is day 3 of the workshop. How was the question writing, MCQ writing experience? Any thoughts? Which was more difficult? The poem or the story?
Ma'am, I think the story was more difficult. Yeah.
Ah,
Uh, uh, there were some questions about main idea, na? Bringing main idea. What is the main idea, either of story or poetry poem?
ah,
I think that was a difficult one because it was difficult to take out, bring out, to know the main idea of the story, because it could have been anything. There were so many thoughts about that.
okay. Could the main idea be like rebellion by uh, subordinate or somebody who was oppressed or something like that?
Yeah, that kind of thing. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there are some, stories which are very tricky because there are a lot of main themes running around it. But yeah, even if there are more than one theme, there's more than one theme, we usually ask which of these is the main theme in the story. So just to give provision for other themes also, we ask which of these is one of the main themes. Yeah.
Okay, ma'am. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
This is I'm speaking to Rajeshri ma'am,
Ma'am
right?
Rashri, yeah,
Yeah.
Rashri.
Um, Mr. Amit ji, how was the experience? Which one did you find it difficult?
Both.
Both. Okay.
It appears that poems are easy to get the theme of them, but actually it was also a Herculean task because
Ah,
it is
okay.
not uh, from the teacher's point of view. Okay, it might appear okay, it's easy, but we are framing questions for a student,
Correct,
so
correct,
we
correct.
have to reach to the point of their mentality. Okay.
Correct,
How
correct.
would they feel about the theme? So it was not easy at all. Neither the
Okay.
phrase nor the poem.
Okay, okay, okay. Because poems are like because of the form they have and the abstract language they use.
Yes.
It is good for poems are nice for classroom appreciation. Like when you teach a poem in the classroom, you can elaborate on the setting and what is happening and things like that. But when it comes to like you're actually pinning down the ideas for question making, then it becomes very difficult.
Yes.
It becomes like a what you call like mercury. It keeps slipping away. So yeah, but I hope it was the more challenging it is, the more insightful it is usually. I
Yes.
hope it was.
No, that is another fact. That is another fact that exciting or difficult, these are two different facts.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Okay.
The work might be exciting, but at the same time, it might be difficult.
Correct. Correct. Yeah. 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 Shalini ma'am, how about you?
Ma'am, 1 minute. Have you shared your screen? Because I am unable to see the screen.
Oh, I am not able to share the screen.
I am unable to see it actually.
Oh, okay.
Only B is appearing just before me.
How about now?
Still, not yet. Okay, I should. Okay, now it is visible. Now it is
Oh,
visible.
okay. Fine. Fine.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes.
Shalini. Shalini.
Yeah, tell us, ma'am.
Yes, okay. So the story was a bit foreign in its context. Maybe for 9th class students, 11th class, they are familiar with it,
Ah,
especially urban students.
ah,
But poem was also interesting because it could have been seen from the point of view, perhaps in the general context where the poems are nature and man, where simply it was simply an interesting sort of an encounter with the snake, which was
correct.
out for.
Correct.
So nice. I think it had a really wide scope of
Yeah,
discussion in a
correct,
classroom.
correct. I was coming to that because if you just look at the poem, it is just an
Yeah.
elaborate observation of something.
Yes. Yes.
There's nothing actually happening there. It is just the two people
Yeah.
are watching a snake move away and the glory of the
Yes.
encounter.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So, I wanted to give this poem in particular because, when my team was making questions for this particular poem, we had a lot of brainstorming, and then no, we thought like because any option was, is turning out to be correct. Like if you interpret it this way, this can be correct. If you interpret it that way, it can be correct. So there was no really wrong option to come up with. It was
Yeah.
quite a challenging, poem. Though my team is very, very, very,
Students can write their own poem also after reading it.
that is a very good observation. Correct. That is true. Hare Ram Joshi, sir, how about you?
Hello.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Ah, poems have always been a challenge for me.
For everybody,
Actually,
sir.
literary aptitude I found a little bit difficult for me.
Hmm.
Uh, I found that if these two things, I mean, short story and poems, are given as an unseen
Hmm. Yes.
or make out the main theme little bit difficult if these are prescribed in syllabus then the scenario can change because teachers are able to explain by exploring things from here and there. So for me a poem was a little bit difficult, that's why I had to take a lot of pains to understand that. I searched for the meaning on online,
Uh,
offline material. So only then I was able to frame questions, frankly speaking. Thank you
okay.
very much.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Even this happens even.
Sorry to interrupt. The same thing happened with me. The same thing
Okay.
happened with me.
Ha. Yeah, poem is a little difficult. Even we do a lot of in my team when they create questions for our EI products. We sit and brainstorm, and then we go and do a little bit of research on the poem and the poet himself. And also, it gives a little bit of background for us to work out with. Otherwise, it gets very, very abstract and very difficult. At least story, there is a plot and there are characters. There's something happening actually, like some events happening. But with poems, it can get very difficult. Yeah. So, yeah, we'll now go into the poem, the questions all of you have sent. Uh, I will display the questions on the in the PPT, and let us take a couple of minutes for each question, as much as time permits. We'll start with one question from the poem and one question from the story for each of us, and then we will discuss them in terms of how the question is there any ambiguity, are there multiple correct answers, is there a better way to ask the same question. So I want all of you to involve it. Now it is we should consider this as a group of questions. Let us not look at it as Pankaj sir's question or Amit sir's question or Shalini ma'am's question. Suppose these questions came in an anonymous mode to you for review, right? Then how will you look at those questions? So for this review purpose, let us be as objective as possible, and try to review these questions. So this was the activity. We had 6 skills: recall direct facts, analyze characters and situations, infer main idea, main purpose, mood, tones and emotions, and then author's craft. And we had 2 passages. So we are in the day 3. Can one of you read this quote? Shalini ma'am?
Okay. I must be cruel only to be kind. Ah, beautiful.
Who said
When we
this? Anybody
Uh,
knows who said this? Does anybody know? This is the giant of English literature.
Yes.
Shakespeare. We saw.
Pardon?
Shakespeare.
Yeah, Shakespeare's plays. Do you know which play?
Julius Caesar.
Who's this guy?
Pankaj Mishra.
Hamlet.
Yeah.
Pankaj Mishra.
Oh, yeah, Pankaj sir, yes. It's not Julius Caesar, it is Hamlet.
Yeah, yeah.
Prince Hamlet says this: I must be cruel only to be kind. Okay. This is a very heavy quote, but we are going to apply it today to the questions we review. The more cruel we are to the question we review, the more kind we will be to the students. Okay, so in that mode, let us be like the warrior reviewers. Let's look at the question very objectively and see its advantages and disadvantages. What are its strengths and what are its flaws? So eventually this will lead us into sharpening our critical skills. Okay? So before going into this thing, I have all of you have read this. There's this story called Goldilocks story. Goldilocks and the Three Bears. It's a very elementary school story. Okay, and because all of you have done Bloom's taxonomy on day 1, can we quickly tag these questions to the different Bloom's taxonomy thinking skills? Okay, since Deepa have Garima ma'am and Pankaj ji joined.
Yes, everyone's here.
Everyone has joined? Okay, so we
Yes.
have 6 of you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so we have 6 of you.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
yeah, so each one can try one question. Should I choose? Okay, we'll start with Pankaj Mishra ji. The first question.
Summarize what the Goldilocks story was about.
What do you think? Which skill do you think it belongs to? Is it remember, understand, apply, analyze, evaluate, create?
I think it's understand and apply both.
Very good. Understand. So you're not applying. You're just giving a summary of the story. You're showing your understanding that I've understood the story. See, when you say applying, you might be meaning that they are summarizing is applying, right? In that way, every skill will be an applying skill.
Okay.
Right? Here they are just saying I'm understanding it. They're doing nothing more than that. Very good, Pankaj Mishra ji. Second one, Garima ma'am.
yes, ma'am.
Can you try the second question, please?
Is it analyze, ma'am? I think.
Pardon?
Analyze.
Yes, analyze. because they are so the moment you take the passage and bring it out into components, and then you are analyzing each component and looking at the similarities and the differences, you're analyzing it very thoroughly, like you're putting it under a microscope and looking at the different parts of the passage. Okay. Okay, this is match the following, so it gets the first person guessing factor reduced, and as we go the guessing factor will increase. Okay. Okay, third question. Who wants to pick up? We've already done Garima ma'am and Pankaj sir. Third
Ma'am,
question.
may I?
Ma'am, I would like to.
Yes.
Shall I
Compare
speak now?
Yes.
poem
Shall I?
create.
Pardon?
Create.
Can I get your name, ma'am? I can't see the.
Shalini, it is Shalini.
Shalini ma'am, go ahead, ma'am. Third question.
Yeah, compose a song, skit, poem, or a rap to convey the Goldilocks story in a new form. Create.
Good. Very nice.
Create. Yes.
Very nice. Fourth question. Rajshri ma'am.
Remember.
Namaskar.
Rajshri ma'am, are you there?
Yeah. Oh, sorry, ma'am. Sorry. Yeah. Describe where Goldilocks lived. I think it's remembering questions. Yeah, recalling on.
Very good. Now it becomes easier for everybody left.
Yes, ma'am.
I think left is Amit sir and Hare Ram Joshi. Both of you can try it out, the remaining two questions. I will not show the answer, but Hare Ram sir and Amit sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Can you try both?
Construct a theory as to why Goldilocks went into the house.
Lie.
Okay, apply.
Right. Okay. Next one.
One is left only.
Yeah. Evaluate.
Actually, ma'am, the voice is not clear today. I don't know why. If
Ma'am?
my network is disturbed or from the other side the network is disturbed.
How many of you don't see the screen clearly?
The screen is clear, but the voice is not clear.
Voice is not clear. I don't know. All others able to hear?
Yes, yes.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
able
Yes,
to hear.
yes.
So only who was speaking right now? Pankaj sir or Amit?
Amit
sir.
Sorry. Amit sir?
Amit
You're not able to hear me clearly, is it?
Still a little bit disturbance, but not so much as it was earlier.
Okay. I think it's from your side because others are able to hear.
Okay, so I think I should reconnect it.
Yeah. Hare Ram Joshi sir, what do you feel with the remaining two questions?
Ma'am, Hadiram Joshi sir is on the way to Bhopal, so I think
Actually, I'm here. I'm speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Remaining two questions are based on fifth one, construct a theory. That is for apply. And last one is for evaluation.
Very good. Both of you were correct. Okay, so this
Thank
says
you.
that all of you have a decent understanding of the different cognitive levels. See, understanding is one part of the cognitive levels Bloom's taxonomy, but when we actually apply it, when we create questions, there are there are the issues that come up that we ourselves will not be aware of, and we might end up tagging it to the wrong skill. Okay, so we will now go to the questions you all have created. Okay, and see. Okay, the first set of questions we received was from Hariram Joshi sir. Okay. I would like to discuss question number 1. Do any of you feel that if there is any problem, see, we will not uh, hello?
Bindu, are you speaking? Couldn't hear.
Yeah, so can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I would like to discuss question number 1. If there is any issue, see, issue with the skill, is it like addressing the skill? It is written to. Is it a mechanical question? How are the options?
Madam,
Ganesh,
I would like to speak something about this question.
who is this ma'am? Can you
Ma'am
identify?
Rashri, I'm
Yes.
Rashri.
Tell me, ma'am.
Ma'am, whatever we learned last time about the writing, about good practice of using rational and all that thing, I think options are homogeneous.
Correct.
And I think there was no need for him to ask whom was Mrs. Foster planning to meet. He could have written also Mrs. Foster was planning to meet the abroad dash and all the 4 options.
That is okay, ma'am, because we are talking about the format, and I, in my presentation, had mentioned that it is better to have a closed question, like starting with a question, who, whom, and all, and as much as possible to avoid this blank, because children tend to write on the blank the answer instead of choosing the answer. So that is okay. That is okay. Uh, Anybody like to comment on the options like mother,
Yes,
children?
ma'am. This is Amit.
Yes, sir.
I think daughter and her grandchildren. Means something is missing there. Matlab, a student might have some doubt.
Correct. Between B and C, daughter is her child,
Yes.
and
So her children and
grandchildren
her
is,
grandchildren.
yeah.
There
So
might be some doubts, ambiguity in a student's mind.
yeah, yeah. So there seems to be, though grandchildren is correct and children also is correct,
Yes.
right? There might be there are multiple correct answers here.
Technically correct. Matlab, there are 2 options correct.
Correct, correct. Hariram Joshi sir, any mm, comments, thoughts on this?
Yes, today I'm ready. I already made up my mind that I would learn from my mistakes. So today I'm ready to have views from my colleagues, from you also, so that I can learn something. It
Not only,
is
yeah.
right,
We are
according to
all
Amit
learning.
Gupta. It is absolutely right that I missed that point that her daughter was also there.
Correct, correct. Yeah, yeah. She was
Ma'am,
going to meet
let me
her
tell you
daughter
one thing
and
about him. He is very generous and kind to accept his mistakes, and he is keen to learn always.
yeah. So yeah. He said that he wanted to learn from his mistakes. I would broaden the scope and say that we will learn from other people's mistakes also.
Yeah, we'll all learn from it.
Yeah, yeah. So it's always a process, right? Like even after so many years of assessment development, I still feel that I have a lot of scope to improve. So that is always a process, and there is a never an end to it, because new methodologies keep coming. Yeah, yeah. So we will go to one poetry question, and then huh. So if you look at question 2, Shalini ma'am. Shalini ma'am, can you read this question too?
Yes, the question 2. We lost breath to watch him pass. What kind of emotion does the above line create? Amazing, fearful, admiring, wondering.
What do you feel about this question and the answers?
Okay, we lost breath to watch him pass.
Yeah.
I felt like it would have been relief in the context when they if the other line must have been there. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
It
So,
was fearful in the beginning, but relief at the last when they saw it from them.
okay, okay, okay. Uh,
It
yeah.
might be fearful. Actually, I think we should, in such cases, we should go for 2 lines rather than one.
Huh.
Maybe.
Okay, to
I
give.
think I have made this mistake, same mistake. I have also given only 1 line. I think it
Huh.
would be better if we go for 2 lines, the former and this one.
So, in order to give more context for the child to
Yes.
understand? Yeah. Okay. Hariram Joshi said, what was your rationale behind amazing, admiring, and wondering? Why wouldn't it be any of those? Whenever people say, I lost my breath, it's
Amazing or admiring one.
Am I audible?
yes, sir.
Uh, by Shalini Madam. Actually, I interpreted this line, we lost breath to watch him pass. Actually, that was a snake, and so I thought the first emotion which may create that will be fearful. So that is why wondering and amazing and admiring. I thought these three.
So,
Hello.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you're saying it. So that will depend on which part of the story, the poem it comes, right? Let me just go back to the.
Yes. Yes.
This is the poem.
Yes.
That is the eighth line. Okay, so it comes fairly in the beginning of when they see the snake. Yeah. So it could be. So would you say that any if the child picks up admiring or wondering or amazing, they be wrong?
Okay.
When the
No.
poem will be read, the whole poem, so the child can reply any of the multiple choice given by me.
Yeah, the whole poem. That is a very, very fine observation. That's a very
Yes.
fine because the
What I
poem
was
as
not
a
getting
whole.
at that time, now I'm getting everything. Or as you said at the beginning of the meeting today, that I I'm cruel to be kind. So I already made up my mind before starting. After posting my questions, first of all, I posted my questions so that everybody can see and cruelly attack on me on my questions.
It, yeah, so that's a very the observation was very nice that if a child reads the whole poem, they can pick any of the choices and substantiate it. Yeah. Okay, so we will go to the next set. The next set we received was from Rajshri ma'am. Okay. Uh, uh, Ma'am, Do you, Rashmi ma'am, do you prefer any? You can choose a question if which you want us to discuss, or
Ma'am, I would like to take second question.
sure, ma'am. Sure.
Yeah, because I think I have made mistakes in this one, so I would like to know.
What do you think is the mistakes you've made? Can you share your thoughts first, and then we will see that if we are thinking of the same mistake or a different one. Rajshri ma'am, what do you think?
Ma'am, I would like to hear opinion of my colleagues first. That's okay.
Okay, colleagues, ma'am, sirs and ma'ams. Ma'am, do you can you choose somebody to begin with, and that person can choose the next person, because otherwise nobody will volunteer.
Okay, I think Amit Gupta sir will do.
Amit Gupta sir, she wants you to be cruel.
Actually, everybody thinks that I am what I should say critic or too much cruel. I am not so. Let me tell you, everyone.
No, sir, my intention is not that. I'm not.
No, I'm not taking otherwise. I am taking as an appreciation. Okay, don't worry. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Sir, you're welcome.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I don't think there is too much to object in here in that question.
Hmm.
So for me, it's okay. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I
You're done.
audible?
You
Hello.
are audible. We can hear you. We were waiting to hear any more comments you had. If you
Okay, okay,
had.
okay. I thought that I am not audible
No,
actually.
no, no, no. You're audible.
Okay, but still there is some scope to actually correct. The
Hmm.
options might be something different. Okay,
Okay.
because they do not define the complete character or traits that we are asking for.
Hmm.
So there might be some more, means you can say options to describe his character, because
Okay.
we have given the multiple options in the answer.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So that is my objection. And
Okay.
thank you again, ma'am, for giving me opportunity.
Amit ji, can you choose any of your colleague to add to
Okay.
these?
May I request Dharma ma'am to have some word
Garima ma'am?
about the question? Dharma ma'am.
Garima ma'am, any thoughts? Ma'am, can you hear us? Garima ma'am, can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. This is Garima speaking. Hello.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you now.
Yes, ma'am. Ji, ma'am. I
Yeah.
couldn't hear your question. Could you please repeat?
No, so Rajshri ma'am, we are discussing the second question of Rajshri ma'am, the most
Yes.
important character trait. So Amit sir ji picked you up for sharing your views on this. So if you can go through the question and tell us how some thoughts about the question to share.
Ma'am, about first option, I would like to say that first option is not given in the passage in the story, and so
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so D answer is correct, I think.
Okay. So you feel the question is fine?
Yeah, it is complex kind of question, ma'am. So I think the question is correct.
Question is correct in the sense of the correct answer is correct. Rashmi ma'am, did you intend the correct answer to be C?
Yes, ma'am.
C, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Garima ma'am. Thank you.
Madam, I would like to share one thing here.
Yeah, tell
Okay,
me.
what Amit sir said, he was right about that thing. I haven't used very complex sort of vocabulary here because when ma'am was had her session, she told us that we shouldn't use vocabulary which is very complex or hard to understand. And in our classrooms, we are having students that I think that kind of thing affects us right now. Whenever we are framing the questions, it just our students come to our mind, and we are not able to use that sort of vocabulary, because when I read the interpretation of the story or the summary on the internet, there were there were words which were difficult, but I couldn't use them. So morbid character and all that kind of vocabulary was there. Yeah.
Okay. So you were.
That's my problem, I think, and I have to come out of it. I think gradually it will happen. Yeah.
Because you are thinking about the government school kid population.
Yeah, I think we will get we will come out of it slowly, gradually.
Yeah. So what my observation about this question was that you have said analyze characters and situations where the word analyze has not been used to its full potential. Because if you see the story, the word unreasonable is there, and I think the word torment is also there.
Ma'am, I would like to add one more thing. I just forgot that point of time when you asked me to. Actually, for me, the C answer is correct, and I am just sorry, Rashmi ma'am, because the reason is that we can see the means here comes the one more object, analyze. He was unreasonable. The first line about Mrs. Foster was here that she was pathological, fearful. Means she was suffering with some sort of disease, means some psychological disease. So when he was tormenting, Mr. Foster was tormenting him. So that is the inference that okay, he was unreasonable to her. So that might be also the answer.
No, so
for me, the second question, C option is also correct.
No, so Rajshri ma'am says C is the correct answer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I thought that she's saying that D is correct.
No,
answer. For me, C is correct.
Garima ma'am said D is the correct answer, but Rajshri ma'am intended C to be the correct answer, where he was unreasonable. Yeah, so the word unreasonable is also there in the passage.
Yes, so inference is there actually.
We can somebody can say, okay, this is really not analysis, it is a recall kind of question, because the child has to look for the same words in the passage, unreasonable and torment, and choose the correct answer. So though it is analyzing the character, though it is asking to check for characters and situations, it might not be really called an analysis kind of question, because the child is just connecting the vocabulary that is in the passage and in the options. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Okay. Fine. We will the tone of the now to the poem question. Ma'am, do you have any preference on? Rashmi ma'am, do you have any preference in discussing any of these questions?
Okay, sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Yeah, ma'am. I think still appreciate author's craft. I would like to have discussion on this question.
Which one, ma'am?
Still appreciate author's craft, that one.
Author's craft. Okay.
The poet has beautifully used alliteration in the following lines. Yeah, I would like to have discussion on this question.
What is the correct answer? Correct answer is A. What is the correct answer, ma'am?
Yeah, that one. A is the correct answer, ma'am.
Okay, okay.
What? Yeah. Alliteration of what? Yeah.
Not only what, I think followed food is also
Yeah,
there.
ma'am. Yeah, that was also there, but I chose this line.
Ma'am, can anybody argue that we walked in B also can be correct?
We walked. Yeah, ma'am. Here. Yeah, it is also right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to be a little careful because these are all tricky situations. We might just, one option we will be very, focusing on that we will forget, to check the other options very correctly.
Yes, you're right, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. So we need to be very careful about multiple correct options in multiple choice questions.
I could have chosen another line.
Yeah.
I really forgot. Okay, this is my mistake. Yes.
So if we had asked the child, to choose a line which shows alliteration, like in a constructed response, then there is no issue. Like the child will choose one sentence and we can say, okay, this is wrong or this is correct, or But here we are giving choices, and those should not be, none of them should be even partially correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Many of you have, done a question on the main idea of the poem. I think almost all of them have done a question on main idea of the poem. Ma'am, what is the correct answer for the question 1, the main idea of the poem? What was your intended answer?
Ma'am, I think it was actually it was a tricky sort of thing because there were so many, as ma'am earlier said, there are many things possible in stories as well as poem also. What I think my correct answer would be D. Man should respect nature. But now I read it, I think it could have been B also. Harmony between man and nature. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So when we, Hare Ram Joshi sir also had a question on that. The first, here. What is the main theme of the poem? And I can see the, options very closely related to Rajshri ma'am's question. Conflict between man and snake, relationship between man and snake, man and nature, and snake and nature. I can see that a lot of effort has gone into forming these options. They are definitely not, absurdly framed or anything. So that is quite an impressive, this thing. Even Rajshri ma'am, Rajshri ma'am only, right? You also have done this conflict between man and nature. The only thing it is like, according to the interpretation, it can be any of those, because if you see the options, they're all very wide and open to interpretation.
Okay, they are not closed one. Yes.
They're not like, you're not narrowly specifying. For me, even I thought about what is the main purpose or main idea of this poem, but there is. I myself couldn't come up with anything that is very convincing where I can rule out the other options.
Madam, even I wasn't satisfied with this question. And in fact, I had decided to give only 2 questions. But later on, I thought we are going to have discussion. So I decided to choose one.
Okay. So the thing about poems and the especially main idea question is that we are all very tempted to have a main idea question for a poem. Like for a poem, we think, how can it not have a main idea, right? And if you see the title of the poem itself, it is just hunting snake, nothing like no philosophy involved, no grand idea involved. It's just a sudden encounter between a man and a snake. So there is no lesson being taught. There's no philosophy being shared. So in those contexts, it's very difficult to have a absolutely correct main idea.
Ma'am, does it mean that we shouldn't frame such questions?
Yes,
when
it is
such kind of abstract poem is there, then we shouldn't frame questions like these,
We should
main
not,
purpose or
because
identify. Yeah.
we should not, because it ends up being ambiguous. Like people who especially are good debaters can justify any of the options. So it is not necessary that every passage you should have a main idea question. It is okay not to have a main idea question.
Madam, I would like to say one thing here.
Huh.
What I think what is happening with me, that
Huh.
I am focusing more on framing the question
Huh.
rather than on the options. What is happening with me?
Okay,
That's
okay,
okay.
okay.
My focus is more on framing the question. But next time I would focus more on the options also.
Yeah, because options are very, very critical, because the very point of doing a multiple choice questions is to use the full potential of the options. So
Okay.
yeah, okay, fine.
Thank you.
We will go to Mukesh Singh, sir. His questions came in third. Sir, any question you prefer we discuss? Mukesh ji,
जी मैम
any question you want to choose for discussion, or?
मुझे लगता है सभी प्रश्न मेरे द्वारा बनाए गए हैं तो आई वुड प्रेफर यू टू चूज एनी वन ऑफ देम
Okay. How about question 2? Or
Mr. Eugene also suggests to stay.
there's a lot of background noise. Okay. Mukesh ji wants to discuss question. I want to discuss. Sorry, not Mukesh ji. I want to discuss question 2. So, anybody, any thoughts on this? Hariram sir, are you traveling today? Are you commuting right now?
Yes, I am traveling and still I am online. I think you are asking me to discuss about the second question.
Correct.
Actually, as far as skill is concerned, analyze characters and situations. So, from that point of view, this question is not based. It is only based on the remember skill or mechanical.
Correct. Okay. Mukesh ji, you have tagged to main idea. So when we consider main idea, it is the main idea of the entire passage or a particular paragraph, things like that. I think you're interpreting the main idea as the climax of the story, right? The climax of the plot. We can't hear you, sir.
Question discuss करना है second, third.
Second question. Do you feel that it is a main idea question?
Ma'am, this is the third question.
I can't hear you.
Ma'am, this is Amit. May I speak?
Yes, sir.
I think all three questions are recall direct facts, means remembering.
Correct,
all three questions.
Correct.
So they do not suit the skill that we are looking for.
Yeah. Mukesh Singh ji. Mukesh ji, can you hear us? Okay, we will go to the next set. I don't think he is able to hear us. So, Garima ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
any question would you prefer that we discuss?
Madam, my reply would be same as Mukesh sir, as I only framed all the questions. So I would like to know your views about the questions. That is the only way to, improve. So I would be grateful if you discuss all the questions.
Okay, okay. So, the first question, let's take the first question. Okay, where did Mrs. Foster leave to visit? One, what was it? On one day, is it?
It is Shanghai. Second
Ah,
is Canada. Third is Chicago. And fourth one is Paris.
Ma'am, so there is one thing about creating even recall questions. So if so, it should not be a question like. So I can easily reframe the question without all these things and say, which of these cities is mentioned in the story? Right? It
Right.
need not be it need not be like why is Mrs. Foster, where is Mrs. Foster going to visit? Because the words Canada, Chicago and Shanghai are not even mentioned in the story. So there is no scope for a child to get confused between Shanghai and Canada and Chicago. It is simply a visual matching of the option,
Okay.
right, to the story. So even if it is a recall question, we cannot ask questions where we are just asking them to find out which word appears in the story. Especially grades 9 and above, uh, we shouldn't be using such questions because it is way too easy for kids. It's like, we are not testing whether they can match city names. Do you get my point, ma'am?
Yeah, ma'am, I would just like to mention that if a child has learned the lesson, if a child has read the lesson, then only he or she will be able to reply. So on the basis of that, and as no other city's name was mentioned in the in that story, so this was the only choice that I could have given the words. I mean, any city's name. So on the basis of that, I framed this
Ah,
question.
so this is a very factual question.
Yes.
First of all, higher grades, when we say factual questions, it need not be just recalling the name of a place or, so relationship between Mr. and Mrs. Foster, who is Mr. Foster to Mrs. Foster, it's like a question, it's like a very, very rudimentary, elementary kind of question. So for grade 9, even though it is a recall, it needs to be a little challenging. So for this, the child doesn't even have to read the passage. They just have to check for the names of the cities,
Okay.
right? So as opposed to that, if you had asked why was she leaving to Chicago or why was she leaving to Paris, right? Then you have options like to meet her children, to go on a vacation, things like that. Then they have to really read. And because the word Paris is going to be used in the question, like why is Mrs. Foster going to Paris? Then they have to read the passage to know why she's going.
Now I got the point.
Got it? Okay, okay. So, okay, question number 2. Can somebody read the question, please? Ma'am, you only read the question.
Me, ma'am, Garima.
Yes, yes.
Why was Mrs. Foster interested to observe that there was no car to meet her? And the options are: first, she knew that her husband could not come to pick her. Second, she did not want to reach home late. Third, she wanted to surprise her husband. And fourth one is she liked to hire cab.
Ma'am, this is a very good question. This is a very good inference question, and the options are very well planned. And there is no way that the child can pick up the answer without reading it, because it's even above a very analytical question, because the child has to understand what has happened to the husband, and based on that, her feelings towards the husband. So the student has to connect these two things, what happened to the husband and her feeling towards what has happened, and then only they can come up with the answer. So it is a very high level thinking, higher order question. It's a very nice question, ma'am, and the options are also really good. Yeah, there are some small tweaks and things that can be made, but but those are like minor stuff and that any editor can take care of. So otherwise, that question is very impressive, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, we'll go to poems question, and then we can come back if there is more time. Uh, um, Shalini, ma'am?
Yes.
Ma'am, can you pick up any of the questions to discuss?
I hunting snakes. Phone of prey. I think they are good questions. The sun glazed his torso because I think the second one, that is in the domain of understanding.
The second one. Okay.
Yes, the snake, the sun glazes his curves of diamond scale. I think this question needs a bit of a discussion. I would like you, Garima ma'am, I would like to hear how you approached it and what was in your mind.
Actually, the purpose behind framing this question was to whether the child understands that why this line has been framed. I mean, what is the correct meaning of this line? So to check that, yeah, I suggested this line and then asked this question: why does the skin of the snake shine?
Interesting. All three or all the options are correct. All of them are. Could we have framed it as a metaphorical or figure of speech question? Maybe. Do you think?
Yes, it could be. Could you please suggest that question?
Ma'am, I'd also like ma'am to refer to this question and then tell us how we should have approached it, or whether it is in which category would it fall if we take it as a figure of speech question, and in which category would it fall if it is taken as it is.
Ma'am, so
yes, I want your reaction.
Okay, so if you read the quoted sentence, okay, the sun glazed his curves of diamond scale. Okay, so if I were to take this sentence, okay, this line in the poem, and say the sun glazed his curves of diamond scale. Okay, curves of diamond scale. Now we know that the sun glazed, so that we know that the sun is there, right?
Yeah.
So there is no ambiguity or no doubt that it was a sunny day.
Yes.
Okay. Now it has scales. It's a very factual information again. It has scales, right? And then the sun is shining on the scales.
Yes.
So putting 1 and 2 together, third is correct.
Okay. Yes.
Right. So now it is merely again changing so the line itself is loaded with imagery, like it's a visual image of the snake with its diamond scales, and the sun is falling on it, and you can see the glaze of the sunlight. It's a visually loaded image.
Yes.
Right. Now, but if we if we just translate the thing into prose, It just says on a sun-warm day, the sun rays were falling on the scales on the snake.
Yes.
So there is no, for me, there is no big challenge for the student here.
Okay, yes.
Right? There is no understanding involved as such. It is merely, words changed into more prose.
Okay.
Right?
Fine,
So
fine.
my
Got it, sir.
problem would be like students in grade 9 and above should be asked more challenging questions. So
Okay.
these the children can answer with common sense.
Okay.
Right? So it's better to avoid such questions. And there was another question by somebody where the figure of speech was there, like as Shalini ma'am suggested. What figure of speech was the answer was imagery, so I don't know, maybe we'll come to that again. Yeah, so you got it, ma'am?
Yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So we will come back to the other questions if we have time. Next is Amit Kumarji. Amitji, do you prefer any question to be discussed?
I think, ma'am, every question needs to be discussed. I have committed a lot of mistake.
That's okay.
Okay, so the first one I accept that. Okay, I put a little easier questions options actually.
This is a very
I should not have done that.
like the same one as the other
Yes.
one, the Shanghai, Canada, and Chicago by Garima ma'am.
Yes.
It's also
Yes. I come to know that.
Yeah,
I accept it.
And please do not use this option like nowhere, because the moment you say where was she going, you cannot say she was
Yes.
not going anywhere. It's a very logically impossible kind of an answer.
Yes.
Right?
Okay, I would prefer the question, what do you understand by something in our manner hinted of return in the not too distant future? If means I'm ready to hear the flaws and mistakes. Really, I want to improve many things.
So what do you understand by something in a manner hinted of a return in the too not distant? This is a very good question to ask. The question itself is very, it respects the intelligence of the students, right?
Very.
When we
Yes.
ask question like where was Mrs. The Foster going, it's sort of you're treating the children as a little dumb. They don't know, like they can't see the word Paris in that. But this question really respects the child's intelligence, and we assume that the child, the student is capable of higher order question. This is a very good higher order question in the sense
Thank you.
it is couched that sentence is not straightforward, right? Something in her manner hinted at a return, because it brings out it is also telling the kind of relationship Mr. and Mrs. Foster had.
Yes.
Right? So that way it is a very good question to ask. Now let us look at the options. Her future wasn't distant. She would not return in future. She would return there soon in future. Her manner wasn't hinting of a future return. Yeah, so the correct answer is C.
Yes, for me, it's C.
Not too distant, that she will be arriving soon in future. Correct. So you are changing that not too distant future to soon in future, basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
I try to put some ambiguity in a student's mind. So whether I put a distant word or future word in all the options.
So there is another way also. So I might have told you that you need to put some keywords in all the options. Okay. The other way to make a question, not cluing into any correct answer is not to use the keyword in any option.
Okay.
Right. So if you say something in a manner hinted of a return in the not too distant future, okay. So the correct answer, if you say that she will be returning soon.
Yes.
Okay. Though return is there, we can use or she will reach home soon.
Okay, she will back soon.
She will she will reach home soon or something like that.
We'll be
Right?
back soon.
Yeah, and then so what it gives, what advantage it gives you by not using any of the words from the phrase is that now you can keep the other options also free of all these words. Now it becomes, now if you see the options, no, her future wasn't distant, she would not return in future, she would return there soon in future, her manner was in intake. Now all the words have the words future and return. Now
Yeah.
the options are more like word games. Do you understand me?
Yes, yes, I do.
Yeah, so it becomes like a play of words. So now it becomes like a puzzle, word puzzle, rather than a comprehension question. Right? So if you had kept like, no, that she'll be reaching home soon as your correct answer, it would have freed you from having to play with words.
Okay.
Yeah, you could
We'll
have
take
used
care of
other,
that.
you could have used other words in the phrase, like hinted of a return, like she explicitly stated something, or no, things like that.
Ma'am, third question as well. Actually, it's too poor. Actually, it is not describing analyze character and situation. It is about the fact. So I just misplaced it.
She was
It
caring
is
and
also to
loving,
remember.
never opposed her husband, was afraid of her husband,
Yes.
always
So
full
it
of
is also
jealousy.
based on remember.
It based on remember, but
Yes.
it is of a higher difficulty because you're combining 2-3 characteristics. Uh, yeah, this is a I would say like a 70% good question. Like, yeah, there will be always scope for improvement, but the main idea here is to see whether you've been able to understand the main principles of multiple choice questions. So though we are going to be cruel, we won't be butchering the questions. So that's okay. Okay, let's go to the poem questions. What did the poet see reeling by? So this is a very, very, very easy question, like the London
So
Times.
the very first question of the approach and same question here.
Because so the first question you need to ask yourself is, is the title enough to choose the answer? So the title is Hunting Snake.
Yes.
Right? Then you don't have to read anything else to choose the answer. Right? So it doesn't become a truly comprehension based question.
Very, very easy.
Yeah, very easy question. So we should avoid that. Okay.
I
What do
will
you
take care of it
understand
next
by
time.
yeah? What do you understand by cold, dark, splendid? Rajshri ma'am, can you read the question and share your thoughts, please?
Yes, ma'am. What do you understand by cold, dark, and splendid? He was gone into the grass that hid his prey. Options are: the splendid snake hid himself in the dark. It was very cold grass for the snake to hide. The dark and splendid snake had gone into the grass where his prey had hidden itself. And the last one is: the grass was very cold and splendid. Madam, the skills what sir has written here is register moods, tone, and emotions. And I am not getting any. What can I say?
Mood, tone, or emotions.
Yeah.
Amitji, do you agree with that?
Actually, it's the it's the line. Sir is just asking the student to understand the meaning of the line, and he's asking the correct meaning of the poem's line.
Yeah.
That's what is happening here. Yeah.
Amitji, do you
Absolutely agree with her. I'm learning from her experience. Really,
Sure,
it's my
sure.
pleasure that I'm among such sagacious people.
Okay, so
Madam, same thing is happening with us, everyone.
Ma'am, I'm telling you, even after years and years of assessment development, there are so many pitfalls there. I constantly fall into, and my team also, experienced people, they also fall into. So usually that's why whenever the team creates questions, like it goes through 3, 4 reviews. So even assessment experts, like they need 4 reviews to go through the question. So
Okay, ma'am.
please don't feel bad that your questions are bad or like not up to the mark. I would say for somebody who has just started writing questions, like freshers, if you say, they are really 50% above good quality questions. So yes, they need a lot of review and rework, but then even the questions of experts need review and rework. Do you understand what I'm saying? So it is a continuous learning process. Uh, so as Rajshri ma'am said, that it really does not meet the skill where you are asking for the meaning of a sentence line. Uh, so um, so there is no mood or tone or emotion that is being discussed by the question. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, Amitji, what was the answer to the third question? Because I couldn't figure out what is the figure of speech here.
Personification. For me, it's personification.
Sun warmed in this late season's parade. Under the is it because the sky?
Season and autumn are considered non-living things, and we do not use any apostrophe with these things. If they are being used in such way, means it is personified. Means they are being personified. They are being considered as human.
Oh, because they are given human qualities of grace and gentleness.
Yes.
Oh.
That is the definition of personification, I think. I think Rashmi ma'am will help me find out.
Given human qualities to non-living entities is personification.
Yes.
But it's even I was wondering what it's a very, seems like a difficult, because
No, ma'am. Actually, for class 9th and 11th, it's an easy one question. I think Sally ma'am, Pankaj sir will guide me to help it.
Ma'am, sir, you have to do, you can do a mini research project by giving this question to 30 grade 9 and 30 grade 10 and 30 grade 11 questions, 11 students, and see which one they are picking up.
Okay.
You can do a mini research paper on this. Please consider that. Like, don't
Okay, I will.
don't do a very extensive one. Do a mini, like give this question to, like, even 30 students might be more, 20 from class 9, 10, and 11, and see what they are answering.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you can write a short white paper on this saying, these are my findings. So many students went for option A, so many students went for option B, and C and D. From this we can we can tell that, based on your results, we can say that students are quite proficient in understanding the figure of speech used as personification, or are weak in that, or whatever it is. It will be nice to know,
Okay, I will do it.
you do this, sir, do this. It will be very nice. It will be very nice.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll go to Pankaj Mishra ji. There was no questions on Pankaj ji. Can you hear me? At that time, I couldn't hear you. Deepa, I am in the presentation, so I can't see the other screen. Can you tell me, is Pankaj sir still there?
Yes, he's still here. Pankaj sir, you're on mute if you're trying to talk.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you sent questions only for the hunting snake, right? Because in that document, there was only questions for hunting snake. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Actually, what happened yesterday, I prepared questions on some different topics and sent them. In the late night, I got a message in the group that the file is not correct. So
Correct.
I
I
thought
only
that
suggested, yeah.
it's not opening. So I just took a screenshot and sent it again. Earlier in the morning, Mr. Joshi sir informed me in the group that the topic was different. So I prepared questions today in the morning. And I should prepare only on one lesson only.
Okay.
Sorry to say, I couldn't follow all the instructions, and I forgot to register mood tones and emotions, analyze character and situations. These were not included questions. But anyhow, I created some questions, and I want to every one of you to analyze and give your suggestions, views on these questions.
Okay. Hariram sir, are you still there? Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
So can you go through the questions and share your thoughts?
Second one and third one, fourth one, and fifth one. Which figure as you went? Actually, most of the questions are based on mechanical skill.
Yeah. Okay.
Meaning of road. That is also based on recall, not on understanding, I think.
Correct.
And the last one, question number 5, our eyes went with him as he went. Figures of speech. Application phase. If we have taught learners the poem, if it is an unseen, then it might be based on analysis. Otherwise, if I have earlier taught the students the poem, so he can easily recognize which figure of speech is there. But if it is an unseen, then it is based on application.
Okay. So, Pankaj sir, the question 1 and question 1 is way too mechanical, too factual, especially for higher grades. So it's better to avoid such very direct, recall kind of questions. Question 2 is a vocabulary question. It's not a comprehension question.
Yes.
And question 3 is actually a grammar question.
Yes.
Right? It's not a comprehension. So when I gave this exercise in this assignment, I was looking forward to only making comprehension questions. And opposite of prey is again a vocabulary question. So most of them are like vocabulary and grammar. The fifth one is author's craft. It can be considered a comprehension question. And the correct answer is alliteration. It's a pretty straightforward.
Actually, Pankaj was in hurry. Pankaj was in hurry actually.
I understand that.
And that's why the skills provided by you, he could not notice them actually.
Yeah.
Otherwise, he could have created better questions.
I understand that. He explained the issues he had with the file opening and having to redo it again. Yeah. Yeah. So, but Pankaj sir, you can, for your own, advantage, you can take some time and try to, make questions and like based on our discussions, you yourself will be able to, judge whether it's a good question or not. Please try to do it with this whenever you get some time.
Okay, ma'am. I will do it surely.
Yeah. Last is Shalini ma'am's question. Ma'am, you sent me only one question, right?
Okay, so there must be some mistake, ma'am. I made all the 6 questions, so I'll send the file again maybe today.
Did you send it?
Yeah, yes, I did. This was, I think, the last question. And okay, there must have been some mistake. This is the last question, I think.
Oh, okay.
So there must have been some mistake with the file.
Oh,
I think I can't share the screen. I don't know how to share it on the screen. Otherwise, I would have done, because I have them scanned in my phone, but I don't know how to share it. Share a file.
Okay.
So maybe I'll send them today again after the class, just so you can have a like. Maybe even if we can't have discussions, at least you just go through them.
Okay, sure. Okay, fine.
My friends also.
Ma'am, may I?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Hello. Sally ma'am, if you have the file, you can share it right now. You can at the bottom of your screen there are 3 dots. If you
Okay,
click
yes.
them, if you click them, there will be option of share. As you go to option share.
Sir, I'll try. If can everybody bear with me and give me a chance to try, if I can, only just for a minute, if I can
Sure.
successfully do.
Please go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you.
May I guide you, please, if you allow
Sir,
me?
please.
Sir,
As soon as I touch the dots.
there is an option of share.
Okay.
There is a third option of share.
Yes.
So if you click on that, on the bottom of there is a share screen.
Share screen.
Okay. There is there an option of share screen? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. Shalini ma'am, can you hear him?
Sally ma'am, are you there? Are you hearing me? Hello.
Hello, Shalini ma'am.
I think there is some technical problem. She is not able to listen us.
We'll give her a minute. Shalini ma'am.
Hello, Sally ma'am.
Deepa, is there any other way to get in touch with her?
Yes, I'm just calling her. One sec.
Sure.
Yeah, Shalini ma'am, are you back on the call? मैम आप म्यूट पे हो. Shalini ma'am.
Deepa, should we go ahead or?
Yeah, let's go ahead. Whenever she's back, she can present.
Yeah, I think
She's here now.
I think she's here.
Shalini ma'am, you're on mute.
Sorry. I can't. I took help of some my IT friends, but I'm not able to. So sorry everyone. I wasted your time.
No
Just
problem.
do one thing, ma'am. Just go to share.
Sorry, Binduji, I just can't.
Ma'am, Sally ma'am.
Because I'm trying to, but
Nana, your screen was there. Your screen was there.
Deepa, do you have the file she sent?
No, ma'am, if you send me the file now, or you send it on the group, we can just present it easily.
I found the group. I couldn't find the one in the group.
No, on the group it's only the one page. But
Yeah.
I'm saying, ma'am, if you drop the file on the group right now, we can present it easily.
Shalini ma'am, can you hear us? Okay, I think we will go ahead with the workshop. Deepa, you connect with her separately and you can request her to join back if she's not able to present it.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All the others can hear, right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, okay, fine. So we will go to the day 3 thing. We said we will go into constructed response questions, right? So we said there are broadly 2 categories. One is children select from a set of given responses, and then there is this set of questions where children construct their own response. They are supposed to come up with their own answer. So it's productive kind of this thing. So many teachers prefer this kind of question. Though it is difficult to score, they prefer to do these questions because they can exactly find out what the child is thinking when they are answering the question. Okay. Anyway, we'll go into the same way how we discussed multiple choice questions. Okay, constructed response is also called open response, free response, and supply type. Supply type means that the child is supplying the answer, the response. Okay. Can one of you read this quote? Amitji?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read this quote?
I'm unable to actually see what you are saying. But I'm just the name of the.
Your screen is not shared.
Yes, I'm unable to see anything.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You are appearing there only.
I thought I shared the screen.
No, not yet.
Oh, so sorry. Wait.
Okay, now this is here.
Okay, constructed response question is also known as open response question, free response question, and supply type question. Supply type question because the child is supplying the answer. Okay.
Hello, Bindu Bang. Sorry, I just can't. So I'll join it, but I have put it in the group, though, of our state assessment cell.
Okay. Deepa, will you be able to pull the?
I'm checking, ma'am. It hasn't reached Abhi. Sure. Once it comes, I'll send it over to you, or I can present.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen?
We can, but ma'am, there is a problem in the text below in the means the screen. The black part is hiding something, some
Oh,
text.
okay. That is the okay. Now,
It is still there. The small black screen is there, and it is hiding the some text actually.
wait, let me try sharing it again. How about now?
Now it is not there. No.
Okay.
So that text is also not there.
I'm showing now. So this you can see open
Okay.
response, free response in supply type.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you read this text, please?
Okay. If we allow children to show us what they can do rather than accepting what they really usually do, we would be in for some grand surprise. As adults, our feeble expectations of children's capabilities puts brakes on their potential.
Yeah. So this is a quote by one of the assessment experts in the field,
Man
and
folks radical reflexes.
yeah. So this says like no constructed response questions have so much potential to bring out to give like a lot of insights into the child's thinking, and the moment they are more they have more scope to answer instead of being restricted to four choices like in multiple choice. There is a wide range of things that the child can do in a constructed response. So now, what are the advantages of constructed response? It allows for testing complex cognitive skills. We need not, restrict ourselves to test only those ideas that can come in a multiple choice. Like you can ask them to explain, you can ask them to support their answers with examples and things like that. So complex cognitive skills can be assessed. It promotes deep thinking because the moment the child has to go beyond the four options and is forced to think, they can be very creative, they can use their background knowledge, they can be critical about the subject. So these qualities of a child can be encouraged in constructed response questions. Okay. Any of you have any thoughts, please stop me and share. It will be very useful even for me. And it also gives insights into student misconceptions. Sometimes the student in a multiple choice question, a student might by be just guessing and choosing an answer. But in a constructed response, the child is, required to, vocalize their answers and tell us, how much they have understood about the concept in the question, right? So it gives us a lot of insights into the students' misconceptions and what kind of errors. And the advantages, it's relatively easier to write than MCQs. As you have experienced last 2 days writing MCQs, the options being very challenging, here you don't have to come up with the options, right? And you just have to come up with the question stem, and so it is easier to write. The biggest advantage is it just takes out the guessing factor from the student. The child can never say no, take a random guess and get it right. So the biggest advantage is that, right? How does a CRQ look? How does it construct just like how we looked at the multiple choice question, the anatomy of a CRQ question, right? In our curriculum, in our state board, CBSE and all those things, we just, uh, give a question and it is not constructed, the question itself is not constructed in alignment with the like international standards. So anyway, we'll come to that. Directions. It introduces the question task, what the child has to do before going to the question. And this is a stimulus, that is a text which the child will comprehend and analyze. And then we have the prompt. The prompt will tell exactly what the child is required to do. Okay. So in this question, if you see, how do Peter's feelings about the game change from the beginning of that passage name to the end? What causes Peter's feelings to change? Use details from the story to support your response. Okay. Now, we can very well stop with that question. Okay. But in order for the child to work with a framework, so if 2, 3, or even 4 kids are answering the question, it can be very, very, very different answers. Right? So in order to narrow down the scope so that the children can focus on what is important in that response, and give further instructions where you can specify what is expected, what are the main points expected from the response of the student to get a full score. Is everybody in tune with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Any doubts?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So one of you can one of you just read only the instructions part, like in your response from there, because it will give us an idea of what the student is exactly expected to do. Garima ma'am?
In your response.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Oh,
In
I'm
your
sorry. Did somebody start?
Okay, Shalini ma'am, please go ahead.
Oh, hardly. Anyways, in your response, be sure to describe how Peter feels about the game at the beginning of the story. Describe how Peter feels about the game at the end of the story. Explain what causes Peter's feeling to change. Use details from the story to support your response.
Yeah. So if the child's response can satisfy all these four requirements, the child gets a full score. Because when we give an open question like what causes Peter to change and all these things, the child will have a tendency to beat around the bush and bring in unnecessary details and information which really doesn't matter to the main focus of the response. So in order to narrow down the child's response, you can give this instructions. Okay. This is the anatomy of a CRQ. Now, that is one part of the CRQ. Now, when we do a constructed response question, nowadays, even I think board exams kind of insist on the scoring guide, right? We cannot, if somebody is going to score this, okay, it is not necessary that the teacher who made the question is going to score it, right? In big exams, different teacher might be scoring it, and that different teacher who is scoring the response should know what the question maker had in mind in terms of the response, right? So this is where the importance of scoring guide comes in. It's also called the scoring rubric. So suppose the question had 2 points, two mark, it's a 2-mark question. How will you mark it? Will you give it 2 marks, 1 mark, or 0 mark? How will you decide on that? So to guide the scorer, the scoring person, to give us a guideline, you tell what is expected of the response if it deserves 2 points. Can one of you read the scoring rubric for 2 point, 1 point, and 0 point responses? Pankaj ji?
Yes, I am here.
Yeah, sir, can you read?
Which one?
Can you see the scoring guide?
Yes.
Yeah, can you read it?
General scoring rubric, 2 points for 2 points. The response gives evidence of a complete understanding of the problem. It is fully developed and clearly communicated. all parts of the problem are complete. There are no errors. Should I continue?
Yes, sir.
For 1 point, the response gives evidence of a reasonable approach, but also indicates gaps in conceptual understanding. Parts of the problem may be missing, the explanation may be incomplete. For 0 point, there is no response or the work is completely incorrect or irrelevant.
Okay. So now if you see this, here also it's not like completely, it is telling you how to score, but somebody might get confused as to what do you mean by complete understanding of a problem? What do you mean by fully developed and clearly communicated? What do we mean by the all parts of the problem? What are all parts? Right? So in order for that problem not to exist, the best practice is to give an exemplar response. Exemplar response is a sample correct response. Okay, for a 2 point, what kind of, for 0 point anyway you will know like what kind of response one can give. But for a 2 point and a 1 point, you can give a sample response so that the scorer can see that if the response matches, not like exactly replicates, matches the exemplar response. Is it clear? Any doubts?
No, thank you.
Okay. So what are the different CRQ types? What are the, first is the simplest form is the fill in the blank, which should be, we should try to avoid in a multiple choice, because some kids, as I said again, write the answer in that. It's best to give it as a CRQ, right? So fill in the blank, this is the simplest form of constructed response question. Second, making a list. Write the names of 2 characters in the story who influence Sia. So very simple, basic, they just write the response. Okay, these questions are easy to change it into MCQs. Okay. But sometimes we want to check if the child is able to construct a simple 1-word or 2-word responses. Second, third type of question is we can ask them to label a diagram. So completion, making a list, labeling a diagram. Now for these 3 types of questions, okay, this fill in the blank, making a list and labeling a diagram, let's see some of the rules or some of the guidelines to keep in mind when we create this questions. Okay. So it is very important that we don't ask questions where there can be more than one answer correct. So for this question, like where was President Lincoln born? Okay. Some children might just write the state, or some children might write the city where he was born, and some children might write the country where he was born, and all of them are correct. Okay. So it's better that only one answer is required. So we need to be as specific as possible and ask in which city or in which country or in which state was President Lincoln born. So don't, it might look like a very simple problem, but it can cause problems. Now, if you have a CRQ in which there are many blanks, first of all, it's better to avoid so many blanks in the sentence, because it is almost like making an entire sentence. It's not like making part of the sentence. So it's better to avoid too many blanks in a sentence. It can be very confusing and unclear. At the most 1 or 2 is the ideal number to have. Okay. Now, when you have blanks, this again might look like a very minor point, but children catch on these things. Okay. Look at the 2 blanks. They are of different sizes. Okay. It's a very minor formatting thing. So make sure that the blank lengths are the same and they are long enough to fit the longest answer. Now, CRQ type, those are different types of, we saw that fill in the blank, making a list, labeling a diagram. Now it comes to short response questions. Now, short response questions are interpretive short answer questions which ask students to apply their knowledge. It's not like recalling, see, fill in the blank and all these things were coming into recalling facts and names and things like that. But short answer questions are always interpretation based and where students have to apply their knowledge. Okay. Some of the verbs that are associated with interpretive short answer questions. Can one of you read this? Garima ma'am?
Yes, ma'am, sure. Ma'am, it is account for, discuss, explain, illustrate, distinguish, compare, contrast, describe, and elaborate on.
These are some of the examples. There are many more, but some of the verbs that, theoretically associated with short response questions are these. And the advantage of short response questions over multiple choice questions, I think we've already discussed that you can combine objectives. Like you can have two-part questions where the first part is like a factual recall and then the second part is like a interpretive question, right? So, for example, and then, okay, I don't have an example for that, but you can easily imagine a question like that, like who went to, who had a fight with whom, and explain why they had a fight, and support it with, support it with thoughts from the passage. So that can be, you can combine questions in the CRQ. Now, another kind of short response question is a scaffolded question. What is a scaffolded question? Like, it is like giving them a series of tasks that are, increasingly more difficult and complex. So this is also like a multiple part question, but it gradually goes from a simple question to a more complex task. Can one of you read this question, please? Rajshri ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
What is the theme of Accept from a Daughter of the Sea? How do events in the story help develop this theme? Use details from the story to support your response. In your response, be sure to identify a theme of the story, explain how events help develop this theme, use details from the story to support your response.
So this is a scaffolded question because it kind of handholds the child into like, okay, you identify now, explain the details. So it's gradually probing, deeper into the child's critical thinking capacity. Okay, this this is another type of short response where you give 4 options and ask them to choose 1 or 2 and develop the idea further. Amit ji, can you read the question, please?
Choose from the provided options. Four figures of speech are given below: rhetoric, irony, sarcasm, and personification. Use 2 figures of speech from the list. Explain how the author has used these to develop Rooney's character in the story.
Sorry, there's a grammatical error. To develop Ronnie's character. So this is a this is another different type of question. So basically, we are just discussing under short response, what are the different formats you can have. Like the more creative the question maker is, the more ways you can think of engaging the students' knowledge in different formats. So that's one of the characteristic of a good question maker is to think creative ways of coming up with different formats, to ask questions. And this uh, CRQ is the extended response. One is short. The first one is that single word kind of answers. The second is the short response kind of answers. And the third is the extended response kind of answers. So in extended response, it's nothing but an essay. It's more like an essay. It's like a long, writing task. Can one of you read this, please? Amit ji, can you pick somebody to read this?
I should mention the name.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't heard Mukesh ji too much, so I would request him to speak to read this question. Sorry, I just mentioned his name. I think previously also, but I have no option but to choose
Yeah,
it.
I think Mukesh ji had some, I think, audio issues earlier. If sir, if you can hear us, can you read this?
Yes, actually there was an audio problem last
Yeah,
time
yeah,
when it was my
yes.
discuss the assignments. Okay, thank you, Amit ji. Extended response. Local aquarium is a huge habitat with several sea lions. These sea lions aquarium a lot of money care for them. The owners of the local aquarium are thinking about giving the sea lions to a large theme park to save money. Write an opinion piece explaining whether the sea lions should stay at the local aquarium or be given to a large theme park. Be sure to introduce the topic and state your opinion. Give your reasons in a clear order. Support your opinion with reasons using detail from both passages. Use linking words and phrases such as because, therefore, since, for example, to connect opinion and reasons. Provide a connecting statement or section.
Yeah. So it is always better to give clear instructions to the student to tell them, no, we expect the minimum of these 5 things in your response. Beyond that, you can showcase your creativity and your thinking and everything, but make sure at least these 5 points are there. Right? This will also give the person who is scoring a chance to check if the core points have been addressed. Okay, so this is one of the very important practice to do when you are making a essay question. Okay, this is another. This is a comprehension essay question. Can read this, Pankaj? You can choose somebody to read this. These are just examples. So we are just reading them to. We are just listening to them to ourselves to different questions. Uh, nothing. There's not important points. It's just examples. Anybody like to read? Hello, is everybody there?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. We are
Yeah,
here.
yeah. Shalini ma'am, can
Yes.
you read, ma'am?
Oh, yes. The boy who cried wolf. Directions. Now that you have read the story, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, think about the author's purpose of this non-fiction tale. Why do you think the author wrote this particular fable? What moral do you think the author wants reader to learn from this story? Why do you think nobody believed the boy at the end of the story? Use supporting details from the story to support your answer. In your answer, be sure to describe the author's purpose of the passage, describe the moral of this fable, Explain what the author wants us to learn from the story. Explain why no one believes the boy at the end of the story. Check your writing for correct spelling, grammar, capitalization, and punctuation.
Yeah, so
Thank
it is, yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thank you. It's important to use that last final line also because, some of the scoring rubrics do deduct points for spelling mistakes, grammar mistakes, and things like that. So the child should be aware that that is also getting scored. Okay, so it's better to make the child aware that, they need to be careful about these things. Okay, what are the guidelines to write a CRQ? These are much, simpler than MCQs. You need to first specify exactly what you want students to answer. Also specify the number of responses, and don't say like list some of the points. Okay, list several points. These are very ambiguous terms. So always put a number to it and say, at least add 2 points, give 2 examples, give 3 reasons why. It's always better to say these numbers rather than saying some or several, because then the scoring can be disputed. What is some can mean different things to different people. And do not ask very this was an example for was the argument between commander and the beggar avoidable? This can be answered with one yes or no, but then actually what we are asking is like, no, explain. So the question needs to be more specific. Let's should not be abstract and just too simplified. Use simple and direct language. You are evaluating what students know rather than attempting to determine if they can decipher the question. If the child is having too much problem understanding what the question is asking, then there is an issue, okay, with the question. If you are asking for like 2 reasons why this happened or 2 examples of why that happened, you should make sure that there is that number plus 1 more in the passage itself. There should be 3 examples, then you can ask for 2 examples. Don't ask for exactly the same number that is available in the passage. Now we are coming to the scorecard. Can one of you tell why the scorecard is important? Why we use it? What problem is it trying to tackle? The basic importance of a scorecard. Can one of you say why?
As a feedback for the teacher and student.
So in the beginning of the second day workshop, when we were discussing the advantages and disadvantages of different types of questions, when we were discussing short response questions, what was the biggest disadvantage we discussed? Like if a response is there and if that response is given to 3 different scorers, would the response get the same score?
No, certainly not. Yeah.
So yeah, so
very subjective.
Yeah, so we discussed that the scoring becomes very, very subjective. For a 5-mark question, 3 different people can give 3 different scoring. And it is inefficient scoring because each of them has to read. This and all we have discussed already. And dependency on subject matter experts, right? So to reduce all these factors, we introduce a scoring guide that is accurate, clear, as objective as possible, and as comprehensive as possible. As comprehensive means if you expect like 5 points in that answer, be sure to mention what are those 5 points, so that it is easy for scoring. Okay. The scorecard gives different possible answers for a free response question. And there's also a coding done, like for a 2 point, there is a code, for a 3 point, there is a code, and each of these codes tells how much marks to give for the student. The biggest advantage is that it standardizes the scoring part. Usually now it is left to the teachers to score however they want. But here there is a rubric which the scorer has to follow, and the scoring is standardized. And there is because there is the scoring is standardized. Now it becomes the data you get from that is almost close to the data you get from a multiple choice question analysis. Okay, so when you do that, when you get this qualitative data, then you can find out the differences between groups of students who have different types of understandings about a passage. What are their misconceptions and things like that. These are similar to what the kind of data analysis we do for multiple choice questions. And many times, we kind of, when we do assessments, we stop with creating the assessments and then scoring it, but then we do not focus on what to do with the scores. Whereas, the score part, the data we get from the scoring is the most important thing that teachers should work on, because it tells what exactly needs to be retaught. So I find it very difficult and very sad that there's so much of data sitting there about the students' knowledge, and then nobody's analyzing it and making remedials from that and things like that. So I think that scenario has to improve a bit. So for a scorecard of a passage with blanks, so this is easy to do. This scorecard is easy to do. Like if you have 4 blanks, you tell you will give 1 mark if all the 4 blanks are correct, right? Which means that you are allotting 0.25 marks for each blank. And if all 4 are there, then the code 1 you write it as code 1 and you give full mark. 3 words are correct, 2 words are correct, 1 word is correct, and no answer is correct. Okay, this is the simplest form of scorecard you can make for a fill in the blank kind of question. Now, short response. There are 2 kinds of rubric in worldwide in international standard. There are 2 types of rubrics. One is a holistic rubric. What is a holistic rubric? Suppose a response is there, okay, and you take the response as a whole, and you say this response meets most of the expectations from the response. This response meets most of the expectations, some of the expectations, and none of the expectations. So as a whole, it is being evaluated. So it is a holistic rubric. For example, if you say there is a 2-point rubric, the entire answer response for a 2-point, it says it has valid inferences, there is evidence of analysis, there is relevant facts, definitions, etc. And sufficient number of facts and this thing have been given. There are complete sentences without error. Okay, as a whole, it has been evaluated. So it is a holistic rubric. Now the second type of rubric is a analytic rubric. Analytic rubric, what it does is it breaks the response into different categories. For example, if you see the first column, what are the categories it is broken into? Story elements, details, inferences, and prediction. Now for each category, it will analyze and score it as a score of 4, score of 3, score of 2, and score of 1. So it is an analytical rubric. It is not like the holistic rubric like this. This is a simpler rubric. Here it is analyzing each part of the response in terms of story elements, in terms of details, in terms of inferences, predictions, and conclusion. There are 2 types of rubrics. It depends, like for the institution to decide what kind of rubric they want to use. Now, what are the advantages and disadvantages of a holistic rubric? Holistic rubric is, it's faster to score, like it's like a common sense thing, like, and it is usually good for summative assessments. So holistic score is not great with formative assessments. You can't tell exactly where the child has to improve. Holistic rubric generally says, okay, the answer was satisfactory, the answer was average, the answer was excellent. but it doesn't really tell what the child needs to improve upon. Okay, so if you, on the other hand, an analytical rubric, because it scores each criteria separately, it gives very valuable, informative inputs to the child, to the teacher, to the every stakeholder. It tells this needs to be improved, and this needs to be taken care of, this needs to be retaught, things like that, and it can be successfully linked to remedial instructions. Okay. Now, what are the problems with analytical rubric? It takes simple. If holistic rubric is faster, this takes longer, right? So what are the steps in writing a constructed response question? Like we have gone through this, we'll just briefly recap what we've gone through. So identifying the concept you want to test. And now decide how deeply you want to test this concept. Do you just want to leave it as a short response question of a 2-point? That will dictate how many points you want to give to the response, 2 or 3 or 4. Or do you want to do an extended answer? Now choose the appropriate question type. Like this is where your creativity can come in formatting the question. Try to include as much directions as possible for the student to know what is expected, right? Making sure that, don't make it a real simple recall kind of question. And they should be able to, they should have the, space to debate in their mind and come out with the best possible answer, which is a great advantage of these questions over MCQ questions. Create a specific rubric, specific scoring guide and exemplars. Okay, we've come to the end of the workshop. Today it was only about the constructed response question, and I wanted to review the questions more. Deepa.
Yes.
Deepa, this is there an activity included for this today's session also, today's workshop?
No, not formally, but yeah, if you want something and you want them to submit it and then you can have a look at it later, that's also fine.
So so now that they have done multiple choice questions, I'm sure they will do constructed response questions. So so we have still half an hour to go, right?
About 15 minutes, but yeah, you can stretch it a little longer.
No, so from my side, this thing is I'm done with the workshop. If we have time, we can discuss a few more questions, or I would like to ask the participants, interact more with the participants.
Okay.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yeah.
Excuse me, ma'am. Mukesh.
Yes, sir.
Ma'am, if we have got some time left, then can you please review my questions which were not done on account of some audio issue at my side?
Oh, okay, fine. We can do that.
Thank you.
And Shalini ma'am is also with me, so we can also look at them.
Oh, okay, fine. So I will just open Pankaj sir's question first.
Mukesh sir's.
Oh, Mukesh sir's question. Mukesh sir only, right? Or Pankaj sir?
Mukesh sir.
Mukesh sir. Okay, I'm sorry. Wait, let me go to the. This is the question on the poem, right?
Yes.
Yes, poem and story both.
A story I did not get. Did you send the story?
No, Mukesh.
Yeah.
Go up even more. Look for Mukesh. Mukesh. Yes, these ones.
Which ones did we discuss? We discussed.
Like to hear it
Pardon?
I would like to hear the opinion of other participants also.
So we discussed. Which questions did we discuss?
I think it was question number 2 and 3. Second and third question.
Would you like us to discuss the second and third questions?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So what we were saying about the second question was that what had happened to Mr. Foster. And one of them had mentioned that it does not capture the main idea of the, I don't know who mentioned that. They had pointed out that it doesn't match the skill because when we say main idea, we are talking about the main idea of a passage or a particular paragraph. So I think how you have interpreted main idea is as the climax of the story, as the main event in the story. Am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Mukesh sir?
Yes, yes.
Yeah?
I admit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So when you are asking for what happened to Mr. You're asking for some kind of
Amit sir, there's too much.
Hello.
Hello.
हाँ जी. Hello.
Amit sir, यहाँ से disturbance आ रही थी. Can you go on mute?
Yeah, I have already muted myself, but I don't.
Okay, okay, fine. About the second, that was the third question we discussed. The second question was, where did Mr. Eugene Foster suggest to stay? This is analyze characters and situation. Mukesh sir, this is a plain recall question, right? They are just recalling where. So any question that says where, when, who, that kind of a recalling a noun is usually a recall. It's not an analyze.
Okay.
Okay, analyze would mean like they take the concept, they answer question like how, why, compare, contrast, those kind of things. For example, if you see your first question and the second question, they both have nouns as options.
Right.
Right. Okay. So they are like very recall. Even if you, yeah, there can be verbs which are also options and they can still be recall. Like what was, where was Mrs. Foster going, and things like that. So, so these are very recall kind of questions. And main idea, as I said, should be the main idea of a passage or a particular paragraph you select. Okay. Hunting snake.
Okay.
Okay. Question number 1. What does the speaker intend to glorify in this poem? Your correct answer is nature. Would the student be wrong to say snake?
इसमें मैंने जो ऑप्शंस रखे थे उनको इसलिए मैंने only autumn, only sun, only snake, only word was used in top 3 options.
See, so that is misleading because all of them are part of nature, like the sun, the snake, and the autumn are all part of nature. So you cannot have one overhanging umbrella answer like nature and then have autumn which is part of nature, sun which is part of nature, snake which is part of nature. Okay, that's a very tricky kind of options. Okay, so we cannot have one answer which kind of consumes all the other answers and say no, my bigger answer, umbrella answer is the correct one.
All right.
Okay. Anybody else has any other thought on these questions? Rajshri ma'am, what do you feel about question number 2?
Ma'am, I haven't read the question yet. First, I would like to read. Okay, appreciate author's craft. Okay. Sun glazed his curves of diamond scale. What type of imagery is this? Okay, ma'am, it's again okay. Side, smell this side. Hmm. Ma'am, again, it's a application question. I think imagery or understanding type of question where you are trying to assess the understanding of student. Ma'am,
Okay.
there is no. I don't think there is anything which is appreciating author's craft here. Something
So
phrasing, yeah, framing of the question is, I think,
yes.
done that way. Yeah.
The framing of the question can be improved because the way Mukesh ji, the way you have framed the question now, like it's framed for 11th grade, and we are saying glaze, right? Glaze. What are the key words here? Curve. Curve is a shape, right? And diamond is a shape, and glaze is also visual. So for somebody to pick up the correct answer site, like what basically you're asking is to which of these senses is this imagery appealing, correct? Yeah. So and then to say site, don't you think it is very, very easy for a grade 11 to know that diamond and curves are associated with sea?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So the way to make it a little more grade appropriate to at the grade 11 level, probably you could have asked this question in a different way and have imagery as the correct answer with other options. Like suppose you've given this sentence and asked what kind of figure of speech as the poet used in the sentence. And then imagery is your correct answer.
Okay.
Right? Even personification is a correct answer. Sun glazed his curves. Like it is as if sun is coming and coating the curves with glaze. The sun is a non-living entity. So you can make it a little more challenging. Like you can give it as a multiple response question where you have imagery, personification, metaphor, simile, and then ask as a list and ask which of these figures of speech have been used in this line. And then your answer can be personification and imagery.
से ज्यादा ही कुछ है ना दूसरे के क्वेश्चन का बुचारीन करना है तो
Mukesh ji, did you get my point?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay. And this rhyme scheme question, I think there were another 2 at least questions I saw on rhyme scheme. Now, I don't know if is it appropriate to ask a rhyme scheme question at grade 11? Is this done? I am not aware, so I just want to know. Are these kind of questions asked in state board for grade 11?
Yes, especially in cases of sonnets, etc. In reference to sonnets, sometimes they are asked.
Oh, okay.
11th and 12th, and in 9th in general. So because we have usually till last year we had 2 types of courses, one general English and then the other one special. So in general English at times in class 9th also.
Oh, okay. So I was wondering why would class 9 and 11 students be doing rhyme scheme? So that I thought that was done at like up to class 6 or class 7. I was not aware that it is done at class.
Get the point from where you're coming. We get it because we need not think of our students only. We need to think of the general learning outcomes which are expected at level 9 and 11.
Yeah. So yeah.
So I get the point now. Yes.
Okay. Mukesh sir, is there anything else you want to discuss about the questions?
No, thank you very much, ma'am.
Okay, okay. Deepa, can you share Shalini ma'am's questions?
Sure, sure.
I haven't gone through the questions, so for me also it will be the first time. So
Even I have
it
done
will be a
trying
good brainstorm.
that way.
Yeah, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, sorry, my laptop is denying me the screen sharing. It's saying it has some privacy issue. Actually, it's on the WhatsApp group. Will you be able to open it?
Wait, hold on.
Sorry, not
That's
possible.
okay. That's okay. Okay, hold on. Yeah, I can see them.
This is Amit, ma'am.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't know why Shalini ma'am having problem. I am able to share my screen actually.
You have downloaded this thing?
Okay.
Amit, you
Questions.
can
Okay,
please share.
let
Yes,
me down.
yes.
Give
Oh,
me a
I'm
minute or two.
downloading. I'm downloading.
Just give me a minute or two.
I'm also downloading. I can show it.
I have downloaded. Should I share it?
Yeah, please do.
Thank you. Is it visible to everyone? My screen.
Yes, sir. Yes.
नहीं आप आ जाओ मैं तो
Now.
Okay, so are the questions appearing?
Yeah.
So whenever you say me, ask me, I will just scroll them.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
So
sir. I
was
can.
my idea. Shalini ma'am, you want to read the question for all of us?
Topic is story. Skill is info main idea. Mrs. Foster's husband died because of because of faulty elevator. B, he went to pick up a gift. C, of Mrs. Foster's pathological fear of getting late. And again, Amit sir, the screen, yes. Of last D, of his own carelessness. C, of because of Mrs. Foster's pathological fear of getting late.
What does everybody feel about the correct answer? Why did he die? He died because, suppose we were to ask the question as a fill in the blank. Mr. Foster died because.
It's C, A and C both B.
Because he was stuck
There are multiple answers,
in the
ma'am, of this
elevator.
question.
Yes, I get the point.
It's an elevator accident, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So when we do the options, it's better to make the options very tight. So for example, option B, like he went to pick a gift. It is like telling like, no, he died because he went to pick a gift. Is that possible? Like, and is it possible that he died because somebody was pathologically afraid of getting late? No, right? Like, they're all state of beings, right?
Okay, yes,
This fear
I
cannot
get
kill
the
somebody,
yes.
right? So yeah. So here as I don't know who mentioned it, there are multiple correct answers here.
Yes,
Like
multiple correct answers.
it's a combination of all four of these things.
Yes, yes, I get it. I get it.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Okay.
next question, the next one I think is
Okay. No. This is a poem question. Can you scroll?
yeah.
Recall direct facts of story. Can you scroll further?
Recall direct facts
Yeah,
of
yeah, that's
story.
right. You can stop there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The exception of this small question कहाँ गया? The exception of the small irresponsible feeble. The underlying feeble is underlined. The underlined word means fear of being late, a minor weakness, a fairy tale, and a short tale to teach a moral lesson. And answer is a minor weakness. I have written incorrect answer there. See, B is the correct answer. Yes, I wrote.
I think you are trying to trick the student to confuse between fable and foible.
Yes.
Yeah. You felt you were trapped in both.
Were trapped. Yes, I was thinking something and writing the same thing. Yes.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. Ma'am, but can you tell us if it truly matches the skill for which you wrote, that is recall direct facts?
Because we have I thought actually it's a recall because meaning of fable was given in that passage.
Oh no. So what we are talking about, this is a vocabulary question, no? So if you take these different questions of analyze, character, this and all, on top of it, there are these umbrella skills of three main skills. One is comprehension, one is grammar, and one is vocabulary.
Okay.
So what we were doing was only comprehension skills.
Yes. Okay.
Right?
So I didn't.
This becomes a vocabulary skill.
Okay. Yeah. Vocabulary question. Okay. Fine. Okay. And then we have.
Is there any more story question?
I think.
The last. Yeah, the last. Amitji, can you scroll further? Yeah.
I have done.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Analyze character and situation. Which of these phrases tell us about character of Mrs. Foster? A pathological fear of being late, exception of this one small feeble, wrote a letter to her husband every day, took out her own key and rang the bell. My answer is both A and B.
Okay. Can others comment on this question a little bit?
I think, ma'am, this is more of a recalling fact. It's a straightforward question, but means this there is no understanding involved in it. We have to pick it from the direct from the text or story.
But though all of them are related to Mrs. Foster, there are only some of them which directly reveal her character. So it is, though it is recalled from in the sense of choosing the phrase from the passage. At the same time, it also requires which ones are relevant in showing her characters and which ones are not relevant to showing her character.
Okay.
Right?
So it needs understanding as well.
Yeah, so it needs some kind of understanding. So, ma'am, but my question to you is, how is B valid? How can you say that exception of this one small repressible foible, it doesn't make any commentary on her character. It is just leading you to something, but it then stops like.
Yeah, what actually, when we read the whole sentence, I was getting at that it was one of her dominant characters, accepting of this one small irrepressible fable.
Yeah.
Irrepressible fable makes it one of the dominant part of her characters.
Yeah, but that is tied to the first one itself, the pathological.
Yeah, yes.
So one of the foible is the pathological fear.
Yes.
Right. So
So
it is.
both, I wanted to
They together
understand
make
that they were.
they together make
Yes.
one answer, right? Yeah. So you could have included a different instead of B, you could have included a different phrase probably. Yeah.
Okay. From
Okay.
the first.
Yeah. So I think we have run out of time. We'll quickly go through the 3 questions for Snake very quickly, so that nobody's held up. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, rhyme scheme we don't need to discuss because it's straightforward, right?
There's one.
Yeah, hunting snake. Identify main purpose. The poem Hunting Snake by Judith Wright describes A and B. There are only 2 options to ma'am.
I think, yeah, perhaps I missed out on something.
Missed
Yes,
out.
yes, yes, yes.
Poet
The
hunting
poet,
for snake, snake
right,
hunting for
right.
its prey. I
Poet
think.
hunting for snake and a snake hunting for its prey.
So it's an incomplete question, so let's not discuss it. One more minor point I would like to discuss it, like whenever a poem is in a manner of narration, we always say the
Yes.
speaker in the poem. We don't call it as the
Yes.
poet, because not necessarily the poet has to go through all that, everything he writes. Better to say the speaker.
Okay, got the point. Yeah, thank
Okay.
you.
Okay.
Very much.
You want to quickly go through the last question? Registers
Yes.
moods and
Good.
emotions.
Yeah, we took a deeper breath of faith. Again, above line expresses a sense of awe, surprise, wonder. B is relief. This is the same. Others could come up with another answer.
Yeah,
I got the point.
yeah, we saw that question on lost the breath, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It should have had both the lines.
Yeah, that would be interesting. That would be interesting to have to give both the lines and ask them like what is the difference in the feeling.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be a beautiful
Then
question.
it would be in so thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So yeah, so we come to the end of the workshop. I hope all of you, are going wiser about, assessment development and question making. I hope it was useful. Please feel free to contact me for any clarifications, questions you might need. And Deepa is always there to coordinate for you. Thank you for thank you for the participation, and it was a wonderful session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Actually, teachers, I have one more request of y'all. If just 1 or 2 teachers can volunteer to maybe answer a few questions in a video, like with their video switched on, and the questions would be like, what did you like about the workshop, and what do you in the next workshop?
Deepa.
Yes.
This being a very small group of 6 participants. Hello.
Sorry, you were saying? Yeah.
Deepa, this being a group of only 6 participants, this feedback will be taken from all of them.
That will be great. That will be so great. Everyone can speak.
Can you hear me?
I'll mute.
Hariram Joshi, can you mute it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So Deepa, you got my point?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, because they can all provide feedback because it's a small group.
Okay, that's better.
Yeah, that's better because that it will give us chances to introspect and make our workshops better and more useful. Okay, I request all of you to provide feedback. That okay?
Yes. And if teachers, if you could switch on your videos when you're doing this, that will be also very helpful.
Oh, you want them to do it right now? Okay, I thought they were going to send it.
So there is a feedback form going out, but
okay. This is apart from that.
Apart from that, we wanted a video, but we could have an open discussion too. So if teachers could tell us what they liked and what are some of your ideas or suggestions for things we can do better for the next time.
Yeah. Can we see everybody like for once?
Yes, that'll be great.
That will be great. Yeah. Just for a few minutes, that's it. And then we'll all pack and have our lunch. Yeah. Yeah. Would you like to, anybody? Yeah, who wants to start? Deepa, you pick somebody, Deepa.
Okay. Rajshri ma'am, can you start?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, ma'am. I don't know what to say. It has been very enlightening to have you as our resource person, because you have guided us so well how to analyze our own, how to review our own work and to review others' work also. And now I know how to proceed further in future.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's all from my Thank you, ma'am.
Anything else you would have liked to see in this workshop? Something you thought, okay, I really hoped I wish to learn this, and but it wasn't included.
Ma'am, actually, everything is new for us because we haven't done anything like this before, and that's why maybe next time, I would be able to say something. What I would like to have more. Yeah.
Sure.
Thanks, ma'am. Thanks for your valuable guidance.
That's okay. That's okay. Yeah. Next, anybody else would like to? One of the male members can go. Abhijit?
Should I speak?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. I'll run. Yes.
These
After you.
sessions conducted so far really enhanced our knowledge of assessment. What is assessment? How to assess various skills, how to frame questions. So that was a wonderful journey, for a new journey, we can say, on which we are just have started.
Okay.
And I hope that cruel kindness will be remaining in the future trainings also, workshops also. One more suggestion is that if it is possible in future, we can have a face-to-face training. That will be, I think, more interactive for us. Though we were only 6, so no, there was not any kind of problem in interaction. Everybody have proper ample chances to speak. But even then, face-to-face training is necessary for us. That is my suggestion. Thank you very much.
I think, but for this Corona and COVID, it would have been a face-to-face training. Yeah, workshops and teaching are best done face-to-face, and some technology enhancement is good, but yes, definitely that's if it is possible, it would have been done, I think. So Deepa, you want more people to speak, or?
If anyone else wants to, that will be great. Otherwise, yes, Amit sir.
Okay, thank you everyone, and thank you, Bindu ma'am, for enjoying with, us with such wonderful knowledge that you provided us. Actually, not most of us, every one of us has been teaching for the last 15 to 20 years. But till now, we did not know how to frame questions. For the last 3 days, we have come to know that, okay, how to frame questions and what are the technicalities that are behind framing a question. So that is, and we are looking forward to getting such things in future as well, so that we can our knowledge skill as a teacher and as a assessment person. So thank you very much, and we are looking forward to means post COVID session to have a conversation or workshop
in future. So thank you everyone, and thank you Bindu ma'am as well.
Yeah. I think there are more workshops to come, right, Deepa?
Yes, there are 3 more.
So, in a March month or later?
सर सो अभी तो एक सैम्पलिंग के ऊपर है विच इज विद अ स्मॉलर ग्रुप और वो भी मार्च में है एंड आई नो देयर इज अनदर राउंड ऑफ वर्कशॉप्स आल्सो इन मार्च बट उसका टॉपिक मुझे नहीं पता वो वैशाली आपको इन्फॉर्म कर देगी.
So even I don't have any visibility on this, so Deepa has to. Yeah. So I really look forward to more interactions with all of you. Because though we are assessment experts, the final, the warriors are the teachers in the classroom. So the more we interact with all of you, the more, first-hand knowledge we get about what happens in a classroom. So it is always instructive for me to be interacting with you. So I will definitely look forward towards that. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
We can close the session?
Sure.
Sure. Thank you, everybody. See you. Have a good week.